Alright, welcome guys. Alright, so over the course of the next videos, we are going to explore the series, this Behringer XR and Midas MR series of mixer. That is the Behringer XR-18 and the Midas MR-18 series of mixer. Alright, so the first lesson, today's lesson is going to be on how to set up the mixer. Alright, so now there are three ways to connect to the mixer. As you can see that the mixer is a rack mixer, which means there are no faders to play with. So there are three ways to connect to and control the mixer. One is through a laptop like this, or secondly, the second way is through an Android a phone, a mobile phone. Yes, you can actually use a mobile phone and then with a tablet. So for the Android version, the Android control, you can log on to Play Store and you see it. You just search for the Berhinger or the Midas MR series edit. Yes, Midas MR or Behringer XR edit. For the laptop version, for the PC control software, you can go to the website. You'll see the MR edit or the XR edit. The XR edit, you can see it over there, and then you download it. You can now install it in your devices. So I have here with me the MA edit already. I've already installed it. How do you connect it to your mixer? Now, if you check the body of the mixer, the connection, where you have the connection, you'll see the switch, either access point or the other Ethernet. So what do we do? What we do is, for the access point, right? So for the access point is where you connect. You use the internal Wi-Fi network of the mixer. Yes, but the second way of doing this is by switching. You switch to Ethernet and then connect a LAN cable. Connect a LAN cable to a router and then use the router. It's more secure that way, because now the issue is that the hotspot, the Wi-Fi network on this mixer is not that strong, and so if you happen to mix in a venue where there are multiple devices on the network or trying to log on to the network, you might have issues of disconnecting and connecting. So the best thing you could do for yourself is to get a router and then connect it through the Ethernet port. One other way you can also connect your laptop to the mixer is by doing hardwire from your laptop directly to the mixer. Alright, through the Ethernet port. So alright, so let's go with this other part. So it's on this thing now, and I'll connect it with my PC. Let's connect it. So if we check up here on my internet, okay, let's switch the mixer on. Now, alright, the mixer is on. So, and now yes, it's up. So this is the MR-18 mixer now. So I have already I've already registered it on my computer, so it sees it. So I can now proceed to open my application. Alright, so this is how the application looks. Let's make it full. Oh, hold on. So now the first thing is going to ask you if you need to connect to the mixer. So you can click connect. Now the next question is, do you want to transfer current settings either between mixer to PC or PC to mixer? Now, since we are just starting out, it doesn't matter for now, but let's go mixer to PC. Let's see what happens. It waits for the loading to finish. Oh yes, so now we are connected. We are connected to the mixer. This is the main data red box, and it's yes, and it's muted. So now what do we do? Let's go to the setup here now. Let's go to the setup. Now the mixer is initialized already. This is where the initialize is. So right now everything on the mixer is empty. There are no previous mix. Everything is new, so you can start afresh. So you know that you are starting your afresh. You are mixing afresh. All right. So if one thing to note now that is, for every time where you want to start a fresh mix, you can always initialize the mixer. How do we do that? Let's go back to this point. From the setup window, if you click the setup, you come here. The first thing you will see initialize, which you say initialize all settings. You said okay, and yes. So now the mixer is initialized, and since it is initialized, you have to try to connect again because it's disconnected. So you try to connect. Now this is the connection. Look at this here. This is where you connect. This is the mixer. So if you click, this is the status that it is disconnected. So we are going to connect it again. All right. Mixer to PC. All right. Also, if you go back to the setup window, this is the access point. Now this is where we can choose to add a password to our Wi-Fi network to make it more secure. If you switch to here, this is where you can add a 13 character password. All right. So let's leave that for now. This is where your LAN is. This is the wireless LAN. This is the LAN. So this is the other tab for our WLAN. This is our LAN. Now this is where you can do the audio MIDI settings. So for here you can switch the clock. That is the sample rate between 48 kilohertz and 44.1 kilohertz. Now this save levels. This option is to mute outputs at power cycle. This is a very good setting I like using, which means for every time when you switch off the mixer and on it again, all the outputs are muted. All right. Also you have to unmute it, and I think we noticed that is what happened when we switched on. I like keeping it that way. So most of the other things here, now this is where you switch between the interface. If it's an 18 by 18 audio interface or a 2 by 2, this is where you record. I think you record a stereo output. All right. This is where you set your monitor levels. So this is the source of your monitor. Okay. Left and right after further listen. That is AFL means after further listen. This is the normal left and right. This is left and right pre-further listen. This is after further listen. That is the difference between these two is that if we choose the left and right pre-further, it means whatever we do with the fader does not affect the monitor levels. But if you use after further, which I like using, whatever volume alterations we make on the master bus will be noticeable with the monitor. That is with our headphones. All right. And for bus solo here, now this is channel solo. This is also very important that it is on the pre-fader level such that it does not the fader, when you raise the fader, it does not affect what is happening on your headphones. So the same thing with the bus solo. When you solo the buses, the fader volume does not affect, which means that even if these faders are not up, you can still hear the channels clearly. All right. Now this is where you do your user interface preferences. You can set your preferences up here. So this is probably not that important for now. Now something else we can fix here. If you go to our input and output section here, this is where your input is. So we'll probably look into it again some other time. This is your USB returns. This is our USB sends. This is our alternate. Alright, so for USB sends is to send it to your, this is where you send it to your PC for multi-tracking. The returns is if this is where you are returning it from the PC, which means if you ever want to do a virtual sound check, which we will cover that in one of our subsequent lessons. This is where you do the settings. This is the alternate for personal in-ear monitor, that personal in-ear monitors for like that is P16 this thing. Now this is your auxiliary out. This is the settings for your auxiliary out, which is right now it's routed clearly. This is the routing page. All right, this is the main out, which is I think you should not touch it. There is no need for you touching it. All right, so that is the basic setting up of the Behringer or Midas XR-18 series of mixers with your laptop application, and it is also the same procedure with a MacBook. And in one of our lessons, in a subsequent lesson, we are going to do a video on how to do that with how to connect your Android device to the mixer.